Hi, I'm John Sicotte, executive editor of the Brewer Magazine. Welcome to another edition of the Brewer Magazine podcast. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, either where you're listening on Spotify or YouTube. And of course, you can always find our business and brewing resources available at brewermag.com 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, all that good stuff. Well, you know what? One of the things that is always happening for a brewery is looking to find new places to be able to put product when it's going outside of your tap room, and the distribution model, of course, something that's really important to a lot of breweries, be it self-distro or through a wholesaler. One of the things, though, is the last few years have been pretty tricky, and sometimes breweries do go out into the market and have to pull back because of different situations. But what happens when it's time to re-enter that territory? So we welcome in Brenson Johnson and John Donnelly of Modist. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Brewer Magazine podcast.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
Well, and whoever wants to take this, John, obviously a co-founder, you've kind of been around since the beginning. I know Brenson, doing sales now and distro. Tell us a little bit about the distribution history of Modest, because the reason we're talking is because you guys are deciding to kind of re-enter some of the Wisconsin market that you guys have had to pull out of previously. What did you guys start with, and what's going on now?
Sure. Yeah, we started in 2016. Uh, we opened tax day 2016, and I was the first sales rep and delivery driver, and so I would started off with my little Ford Transit Connect and six to eight kegs at a time, about 20 cases of crowlers before we started even canning
Yeah.
back in the day. So yeah, I was from there. I hired a couple of other salespeople to try to tackle as much metro as we could. Hired a delivery driver. Now we're up to a team of 7 reps and 3 drivers and 5 distro partners around the country. So it's been a ever changing 8 years for us. So
Yeah. Was distro, like, it seemed that was, and it was a plan right from the beginning, not just come to our tap room. It was get that out there. Why is that an important aspect for you guys?
yeah, I mean, it's we built ourselves as a production facility, so we are in a 18,000 square foot warehouse in downtown Minneapolis, right by Target Field. So production and distribution was always the goal. So we've kind of been built from the beginning, but it's been focusing on organic, slow growth. We're self distributed throughout the metro area in Minnesota, and then we were doing self-distribution to Duluth, Rochester, St. Cloud, so kind of the major markets around the state. We kind of parsed out basically through just networks of people that we knew through beer community here in Minnesota. Kind of, hey, you should go to Duluth. Hey, you should go here in Rochester. Here, you should go up here in St. Cloud. And so we did that for as long as feasibly possible. It's quite a big state, so it's a lot of time and a lot of distance and windshield time and all that kind of stuff. So we
Yeah.
just signed on with a couple of distro partners here in the state to kind of cover the fill in the gaps where we couldn't really get to efficiently. So
Yeah. Having that experience, though, I think it helps a brewery to be able to understand exactly what a distro partner does. I mean, were you guys happy, excited to see that, like, okay, a lot of this logistical stuff that we've, found to be a nightmare is finally getting answered because you've been able to work with some partners like that?
oh yeah, big time, big
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I mean, everything's logistics, right? So it's just trying to manage time of sales, manage time with delivery, and it all takes a lot of time to do and cultivate a relationship and get the placements, get the delivery, get everything set. So yeah, and there's only so many hours in a day and so many days in a week that we can dedicate to those kind of outer state areas that need attention as well. So it's been great to have like a logistics partner kind of a lot on for us. Yeah, and kind of free up some of our time to be salespeople again. So yeah.
Sure. How about now this is kind of like a reintroduction into Wisconsin. What was your previous history with delivering into especially Western Wisconsin counties and things like that? When did that start and when did it end? And now you guys have kind of started up again.
Yeah. So we basically COVID was the antithesis for the or the not antithesis, the starting off point for out of state distribution. Um, we've done events and things like that around the country, doing um, some small drops here and there, but kind of building relationships through festivals and things like that is kind of where we got kind of the contacts and things like that. So we were with an independent distributor in Wisconsin um, that I had met the people that ran that, through festivals and things like that through um, around the country. And then they started picking up beer right around 2020, probably August of 2020 was the first big drop, and then it was going pretty well. I think they kind of outgrew themselves in a lot of ways, but it just kind of more or less it became a lot of how do you say it? Brenson, help me out.
Yeah, I mean they just obviously had some challenges and overexpanded, and then which led to some closure.
Yeah.
And as far as our reintroduction back into Wisconsin, it kind of ties into our expansion of northern Minnesota. As John was saying, we've added a bunch of distributors, DS up in the kind of Moorhead Fargo area down to Detroit Lakes, and then Burnix, from St. Cloud to Duluth, all the way up to Grand Marais. And then they have some counties that they carry in Wisconsin. I think we're with them in 5 counties that are bordering towns: Douglas County, Burnett, Polk, St. Croix, and Barron, that cover Superior, that cover Hudson, some of those border towns that share a lot of economic ties to Minnesota, and that we're linked to, and we have a good following because there's a lot of transient traffic between the two states. So essentially, it was just a closure of one distributor and a partnership of another, and that's our expansion back into Wisconsin. And then we're looking forward to some more strategic partnership with some of these other distributors in Wisconsin as we expand and try to fill the state back out, and then even just the rest of kind of the kind of southern territory of Minnesota. Our plans to keep our self distribution in the metro will stay pat for a while.
Yeah. And Brenson, you kind of brought that up. I know we're in the Toledo area here, so we're on the border of Indiana's an hour away, and Michigan's 20 minutes away. And a lot of consumers don't understand that. Why can I pick up a beer from a Michigan brewery 20 minutes away, but I can't get it at my local tap room in Ohio or the other way around? There's breweries in Michigan that are right across the border that can't just self-distribute themselves here into Ohio. They have to sign with a distributor.
Yeah.
How that's the frustration point. So like it is for a consumer, and you guys hear a lot of that stuff then because people are like, why can't I get it? Like you said, there's like these border towns on the Minnesota Wisconsin border. Like, oh, why can't we just go 5 minutes across the river and be able to grab it? So that obviously that demand makes you guys start thinking about it probably a lot sooner than you might have thought about it if it was a town in the middle of northern Minnesota that doesn't have that same thing. How are those demands a part of your distribution strategy?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously important, but we have to be methodical and take our time here. We can't just put our beer everywhere and expect it to sell. There has to be some organic growth, and there has to be a lot of work from the distributors and ourselves and partnership of growing relationships and hand selling our product to build those relationships. So we can't just put it everywhere, like you're saying. It has to happen in a way that makes sense and is profitable for everybody. The distributor for us, the liquor stores. It doesn't do anything good. Like I was saying, any good to just put something on a shelf and have it rot. We want to make sure that we are growing in the right way. So that's pretty much our philosophy on that.
Yeah. Any challenges in those territories, be it and something that you didn't like the first time that you guys are able to address now because you said, okay, maybe it's different beer bars or retail or things like that. What has been like the challenges that you saw before that you're
Well,
addressing?
COVID was definitely the challenge before. It was a gold rush. There was a huge influx of volume, and then just a different behavior and consumerism. Obviously, the segment is down right now. There's a rise of THC and Delta 9, which is saving and becoming, a lot of breweries are becoming more predominant, and it's a big portion of our business as well too. So, right now it's just analyzing the data, analyzing the trends and what's happening and how the consumers are behaving. And we have to work really close with the distributors to make sure that we focus on the areas of growth of what are growing in the segment. And then, like I said, we need to build relationships on the ground level with the accounts. And that's something where, having sales reps, having John as a co-founder out there is really important just to make sure that people know we're around and we're present and have a face behind the brewery.
Yeah, that's an important aspect of the pressing of flesh and being a face for that. How has that been important for you guys over this? When did you guys start getting back into Wisconsin and kind of how you reintroduced yourself? What was like the process there?
That was basically when we signed with our distributor at Burnix with Duluth. They also covered the Superior side, so it was kind of like a buy one get one type situation. And we've Hudson. We deliver up to like the Stillwater and Woodbury area, and then right across the river, the St. Croix River is Hudson. So a lot of people live and work in either or. My sister lives in Hudson, so I'm always over there too. So that border is very porous, and so the demand is in those counties is still there, and people are still excited. I actually had a guy in Eau Claire ask if he could will call. You were talking about organic demand. It's like, well, we're not actually distributed in Eau Claire County, so I can't will call. And one, I can't will call across the state line, but you can will call it from our distributor's warehouse like an hour away from you. He's like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. I can't wait. So there's still still organic demand. We still gotta cater to those folks, but it's keeping in touch with the people that we were selling a lot of beer through before with our old distributor, and then and kind of keeping the ball rolling. So
Nice.
It's only been about a month.
Okay.
October was our launch date in those 5 counties. So, yeah.
Nice. What kind of strategies, Brenson, are you guys employing, to rebuild those relationships or find new accounts? Things have probably changed over the years. And I know that the number one thing that happens is you build a good relationship with someone, you show back up 6 months later, that beer buyer's not there anymore.
Yep.
What has that been some of the biggest struggles in re-entering these counties?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a little lapse, and it's always hard to get back in. But where we have some strong relationships, that's what we're going to rely on. But I mean, it's pretty basic here. It's we're focused on growing core. We're focused on growing the trend and having the products that are reliable and there. But it's pretty basic. It's good old fashioned liquid to lips, hands on the kind of boots on the ground campaign for long-term success. That's the only way. We got to re-show that we're in the market. We're going to be a good partner. We're there for the long haul, and that we're a reliable partner. But it's essentially just showing the quality of our product and what we believe in, and getting people on board of what Modist represents.
Sure. And when you talk about the core brands, how have that, been your key for you guys to be able to, obviously you have to have the product to be able to get out there and the ability. So are people demanding the cores? Are, are you seeing some hardcore fans asking
Yeah,
for stuff, taproom exclusives, and things that you're like, okay, let's just get this started.
LTOs are always going to be an important part of our business and an important part of craft. But overall, we're seeing the consumers move away from that and gravitate towards reliable packages that they're familiar with and that they can grab all the time. And then they might also garner a price point that's a little bit more affordable right now. So people are still drinking craft, they're still buying things. They might just be a little bit more price conscious. And, like I was saying, the LTO segment is obviously is taking a hit right now. As far as innovation and what people are looking for, we're kind of in a standstill of like what the next craze is going to be, the next trend in craft brewing.
Yeah. So what are your cores right now? What's been really good for you guys?
Dream Yard for sure, right, John?
Yeah.
And obviously that's our number one seller by far. Super Deluxe is a really popular beer, false patterns. And then, T Label is that West Coast drinkable kind of blue collar IPA is also performing pretty well for us.
Nice. Has it always been, have you guys had to change some of your cores up because you guys are going on 9 years here?
Yeah. Dreamy Hard. So none of these we didn't open the brewery with any of these beers. Dream Yard's probably the Dream Yard's our longest standing flagship. We started using that as when hazy IPA started, really taking off. We jumped in right away on that. Dream Yard was probably one of the first in Minneapolis, at least, to come out. And then it really has not slowed down. It's about 45% of our total volume together, which is great. And then false pattern is it's like kind of, we call it, it's baby brother. It's 5%, 5.5% pale ale version, also a hazy. And then super deluxe is a rice lager. So when we when we open the brewery, we're right by Target Field. So I look at the Budweiser sign on my patio every day. So it's a Japanese style rice lager. So if we're looking at Budweiser sign, I got to make a rice lager, right? So and then Teal Label, we're kind of known, for our hoppy beers, and West Coast IPA. We never really had as a core brewer. We did a lot of LTO like West Coasts, and they always sold really, really well. So we wanted to make a kind of a retro looking label, kind of a West Coast kind of like kind of lower price point West Coast IPA that I think is taking off and getting a lot of success behind it. Yeah.
Well, going back into Wisconsin, how do you reintroduce yourself to the consumers? And did you guys come with a campaign, or have events planned? Like, what if a brewery's looking to kind of go into a territory, what are the key basics to be able to let people know so that there's some buzz generating outside of the hardcore fan base?
Yeah, not at the moment. Obviously it's something we want to get out there and do some events and tastings and festivals and stuff, and we'll work with the distributors on that. And we'll just continue to promote our products via, investing rep support and working with the distributor. But there's definitely, it's kind of an odd time of the year to do some of those things. So in 2025, we'll have a little bit more of a strategic plan here of targeting some things. And, obviously this is an investment of, doing a podcast that, will get the word out that we're back out and whatnot. So there's going to be some more things we'll do to try to pull some levers and garner some more support and awareness.
And when it comes to talking, when you went back in with the distributor, what kind of plan do you guys make? Did they have expectations? Do you have expectations? How do you manage those expectations on that in the agreement when you guys actually, decide to go forward with this?
Yeah, we're really happy to be back in Wisconsin and partnered with Burnix, to be back into the segment and bring our beer to the retailers and customers in that area. Having some relationships and some, Hudson and Superior that are already established. So it's essentially just picking those back up where we left off, and then expressing the importance of the distributor of gaining back some of our previous business is going to be number one. And then just overall an education of our brand and hard work to identify the growth and opportunities with our distributor is going to be super important for the success. And expectations are overall set by a CE volumes that we agree upon with the distributor, that we think is, appropriate and a healthy organic growth, over time to be a long-time partnership. We're not just looking to dump beer everywhere and then move on. We want to be there for the long-term success. So.
Yeah. When it comes to just looking at what, like you said, the long-term success, because this can build towards being able to go east more, so, but do you have a timeline on that? Do you have an expectation on that? Or this is where we are right now and we'll see where we go down the road?
Plans for 2025 and beyond, obviously TBD on that. We're always working. We're always talking with people. There's expansion of, we were just chatting with a distributor in Arizona, which with the amount of population of people from the Midwest and Minnesota, makes sense for us to, probably sprinkle some beer around there. So, as far as an expansion further east in Wisconsin and some other states, we're engaging in conversations, and the timetable on that is when it's right and it aligns and it works out, we'll be looking to do that.
Well, awesome. Well, best of luck, guys. Hopefully things go well though over this winter. I know it's like you said, it's a tough time to do this right now. So hopefully expectations are met and, you can see some fruition from it. So, and hopefully other breweries that are thinking about it as well, when it comes to expanding out, will be able to learn a little bit something from this.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, John. See ya.
Don't forget, you can always check on brewermag.com. You can also see us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify. And don't forget daily updates on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I'm Executive Editor John Sicotte for brewermagazine.com.